Hi there, welcome to the live on-air Google Hangout. It's just about 4 o'clock right now, so we'll just give the rest of the students a little more time to join the chat, and then we'll get started.
Because I like interacting with people from different backgrounds. When I noticed that there were actually 50 nationalities at Washington College of Law, right away I said, this is my place.
Faculties here that really helped me a lot when I applied for this school.
Located in the best place to work in Washington, D.C., where all the international organizations are located.
From the first moment I got here, from the professors to the administrative office to the diversity, I decided this is where I want to work.
The fact that we have here in this school over 160 international law courses would be enough to feel that this is a special place.
All right, looks like we have a couple people here, so we're going to go ahead and get started. So first, I just want to kind of go over this Hangout tool. It's new for me and everyone in this office. I know Hilary tried to do one this morning, and she had some technical difficulties. So I'm hoping that it goes a little better this time around. But if you look at your screen here, you should have the option to ask questions. So there's a feature called the Q&A feature. So you can use that to type a question, and then everyone in the group can see it. Once I see the question, I'll just answer verbally. Or if it's something a little more specific to your case, then I might respond to you by typing a message or something. I'm hoping that there is also a chat feature. Can anyone see a chat feature? Okay. One second here. Okay, so looks like Burkhan, thank you. I see your message. Give me one moment here. See if we can figure this out together. Is anyone joining the chat with their camera? All right, give me 1 second. Hey, Megan, do you have the chat feature on yours?
I don't think so. It's in that spot where you showed me. Right here.
Okay.
Is that because that never came up?
Okay. And then you have the Q&A feature?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So it looks like we don't have the chat feature, which is fine, but we do have the Q&A feature. So if you look at the top of your screen there and click on your apps, then you can see the little sign that says Q&A. Okay, great. And so we have questions here. Wonderful. So the way this works, I'll just answer any questions that you all have, and answer them verbally, and then hopefully if we have some downtime, I have some kind of frequently asked questions that I can go over as well. Let's see here. Okay, so we have a couple, okay, some people can hear me, so that's great. So no questions so far, so I guess I'll just talk about some frequently asked things. One thing that students always have questions about is the billing process. So many of you probably received an email, and I know we followed up on this as well, but an email telling you that you have to pay by August 1st. Obviously, it's August 6th right now, and you're fine. So the student accounts office usually says, the student accounts office usually says that you have to submit payment by that time, but we actually suggest that you don't submit any payment until after the first week of classes, so after the add drop period. And the reason for that is during that add drop period, your bill might change because you can change your class schedule. So if that's something that you're worried about, don't be alarmed. Wait until after that first week to pay for your courses. Okay. Okay, so someone has a question about the I-20 form, and on page 2, so with employment. If you do get a job on campus, well, first thing, in order to work on campus, the first thing you need to do is secure a job. So if you are applying for a dean's fellowship or for another position on main campus, you'll first need to get hired. So have some sort of letter that says you were hired. And then after that, your next step is to go to the International Student and Scholar Services office. And so they're going to be the office that's going to clear you to work on campus, and they'll give you all your next steps. So once you work, you'll have to have, I believe you'll have to have a social security card in order to get paid. But they're the office that will really help you through that process. But the first step is to, go through the process and get hired. Many students have asked about dean's fellowships and, when they're going to be announced and how you apply for them. If you look on your My WCL page, you'll see that there are a couple announcements for dean's fellowships in various offices. You're welcome to apply for those right now. You'll just need to follow the instructions that they give you. Each office has a separate application and hiring process for their Dean's Fellows. For example, the International Legal Studies office, they hire a Dean's Fellow every semester as well, but that office usually doesn't send out a posting or an email until the first or second week of classes. So in the first couple of weeks, that's when you'll see a lot more postings for Dean Fellowship opportunities. Does that answer your question? Let's see here. Just that one. Okay, so we have 7 other people here, which is great. Um, what other questions do you all have? If not, I can come up with some as well. I know we've received some questions about the health insurance as well. So if you are an international student, then you are required, if you're an international student under our F1 or J1 student visa, you're required to have health insurance. Now you're going to be automatically billed for the AU student health insurance, but you do have the opportunity to waive that if you fit the criteria. And so I know we sent this out to you all before, but there is a long list of criteria that your current health insurance has to meet in order to waive the AU health insurance. And there are a lot of kind of detailed or nuanced criteria listed there, but the main criteria is that your current health insurance has to have a billing address in the United States. For many people, many health insurance providers don't give that, in which case the student health center wouldn't waive health insurance. But anyway, if you are interested in trying to waive that, be sure you do it by, I believe the date is September 7th. That is the last day you have to waive your health insurance. If you have questions about that, you can email either Hilary or I or Megan using llm@wcl.american.edu. Excuse me, or you can email the Student Health Center directly at shc@american.edu. Okay, so we see a question here. Let's see, do we need to buy a new phone when we arrive to DC, or do we only need a new SIM card? That's a good question. It's actually it's up to you. I know for the iPhone and certain smartphones, you can just get a new SIM card, and that'll allow you to, use your phone as if you were in your home country, and use your data and your plan. But you also want to check with the pricing with that as well. It might be cheaper to get a new phone and to get a pay-as-you-go plan. So unfortunately, I don't have a solid answer for that. It's really going to be a case-by-case thing. There are several phone providers in DC and very close to AU. I don't know if you all had a chance to see the pre-departure orientation webinar, but some major ones around here are Verizon, T-Mobile, Sprint, I can't think of another one right now. AT&T, I think, is one as well. And so what I would recommend is kind of look online first to kind of do a little research on what kinds of plans they offer. And then once you get here, you'll be able to go in person and see how much that plan is going to cost you. Another place you can go to look into phone services is Best Buy. Now, Best Buy is it's an electronics store, so it's not actually a phone store, but they do offer phone plans from various different cell phone providers. So there's a Best Buy in Tenleytown, and again, Tenleytown is the nearest metro station to the law school. There's a Best Buy there, and they have, I think they offer Verizon, Sprint, and T-Mobile. So you could go there and see and price out different cell phone plans as well. So Evelina, it's gonna depend on the price. So what I recommend, again, come here and visit a couple of the cell phone providers, and it'll give you a better idea of how much it's gonna cost you if you get the SIM card, and how much it'll cost you if you just get a new plan. Let's see. Are there any questions about orientation or my ability to answer questions about academics is going to be a little limited, but I can give it a shot if you have any of those questions. How about the wait list? Many of you might be on a wait list for a course, which is normal, especially in your first semester. So the way registration works, is that new LLM students register after all of our current students. So in that case, many of the courses might be full already. But also many students register for courses that they may just want to try out. So during the add drop period, they may go to, say they'll go to, U.S. criminal law and decide that they don't need it or they don't want to take it anymore, and then they'll drop it. That's when spots on the wait list might open up a little more. So anyway, when a spot on the wait list opens up, you'll get an email saying you have 24 hours to register for this course. So you really need to be looking at your email to see if you get off that wait list. Once those 24 hours pass and you don't register for the course, then the wait list moves on to the next person. So again, it's very important to be checking your email. It looks like someone lost connection. Hopefully we can get you back, Burakan. But let me know if I can do anything from my end here. Let's see. Okay, so Evelina, you had a question about the syllabus. So I am pretty sure all of you can see these questions as well. Is that right, Megan? Can everyone see these questions? Okay, great. Again, this is a learning process for this office as well, so bear with us here. Okay. All right. So there is a little bit of a delay in what I'm saying and what you're hearing. So I just want to mention that if I'm answering a question that is not yet showing up on your screen, then that's due to the lag. I also want to mention that if the connection isn't working out for you, a recording of this will also be on YouTube, and we'll mail it out as well. But again, if you have other questions, you can always feel free to email or call the office. But anyway, back to Evelina's question about she can only see the syllabus for U.S. criminal law, but she can't see the syllabus for her other courses. So professors are actually responsible for uploading their own syllabi to MyWCL, and some professors are a little more quick at that than others. So you may not see all of your syllabi or all of your course materials on MyWCL right now, but keep checking back in the next couple weeks. They'll start appearing more and more, but definitely by the start of classes, you should be seeing the materials that are required for all of your courses. Oh, okay, so Burakan's back and he wants me to readdress the I-20 question. So once you have employment here at WCL, then you'll need to go to the International Student and Scholar Services Office, and they're going to be the ones to sign off on your I-20 and to really tell you your next steps. But the first step is to go through that hiring process or application process and formally get hired first. That's when you'll then go to the ISSS office and they'll tell you your next steps again. Okay, we have another question here about additional fees for using the gym at AU. Well, first I want to talk about just some of the amenities that you're offered here at AU and the law school. So of course we have the library, which all of you will have complete access to, but there are also some things on the main campus as well that you'll have access to even though you're a student at the law school. So there's the main campus library, which I know some students use that even though we have our own here, even if it's just used for a different place to study. It's a little larger, so you're welcome to use that as well, but they don't have the same law materials that we have in our library. So there's that, and there's also some gym facilities. There are actually 2 gyms on the main campus, one in Cassell Hall and then one in Bender Arena, or Jacobs, or it's called Jacobs Fitness Center. They're very nice. They have a bunch of cardio equipment, so ellipticals and treadmills. They have row machines, free weights, really anything you'll need. The main campus also offers, gym classes. So you can take a gym class on like Pilates or yoga or a boot camp there. They have spin classes. And for some of those, you might have to pay an additional charge, but for using the gym facilities themselves, that is free. So as students, you all pay a mandatory student fee or like health fee, and that covers the usage of the gyms. So so technically, yes, there's a fee, but you've already paid that. So you're welcome to use both the gym facilities. In addition to the gym facilities, there's also a basketball court. There's a pool here. There's volleyball courts, outdoor and indoor. There's also a track, like a running track that you can use as well. So there's really a lot to use here. So good question. Okay. Another question is it possible to take a language course at AU? So in the LLM program, you are allowed to take one course on the main campus. That course has to apply to your degree or your area of interest. So unfortunately, a language course probably wouldn't fit into that. However, there are programs both here and on main campus for language exchange. So I know on the main campus they have a language exchange program that's offered through the International Student and Scholar Services Office, in which international students from other countries and domestic students sign up and want to have a language exchange partner. So the office pairs them up with someone who wants to learn a different language. So that was kind of a confusing way of explaining that. But for example, if I am fluent in Spanish and I'm coming from, say, Mexico, and I want to enhance my English skills, then I might sign up for the language exchange program, in which they would pair me up with maybe a student from the US who wants to enhance their Spanish skills. And so we would be paired up together and, help each other and have conversations to enhance our respective languages. So that's not only with Spanish and French and the major languages, but there are other languages as well. So if you are looking to be involved with that, they usually send an email out at the beginning of the semester to ask for applications. And Buracon asked, for example, Spanish. Yes, that's one you could. That's one you could do a language exchange with. At WCL, I don't think there's a formal program for that, but once in a while you might receive an email from your LLM listserv asking for language exchange partners. So while it's not a formal program, informally we might try to set something up. It just depends on how much interest we gather. That might also be something that the LLM board might be interested in setting up. So if that's something that you're really looking for, I would bring that up with the LLM board president. Her name is Ana Carolina. She's from Panama. She's very nice. So maybe bring that up to her and see if that's something she'd be willing to work with you on to kind of set up. But if you want the LLM board contact information, feel free to email me and I can send it to you as well. So we have a question about renting books. So I remember you saying earlier that you can rent books for your classes. Is that from the library? So of course you can rent books from the library. Many professors might put books on reserve for you to rent, and that's open for you to do with your AU ID card. But I think what I was more referring to when talking about renting books is through different websites such as Amazon or Barrister Books or Chegg is another one. So the way that works is you go to these various websites and you type in the book code or the book title, and it shows you some different options. It might show you can buy the book new, which would be the most expensive option. You can buy the book used, which would be a little less expensive depending on how much the book was used. But then sometimes you'll see an option for renting the book. So that's usually the most affordable option, in which you would rent the book for a discounted price and use it throughout the semester, and then return the book at the end of the semester. And usually you just mail that back to Amazon or Chegg or Barrister Books. But you can also rent and buy books from the Au Bookstore. So I can actually show you how to do that. Give me 1 second here. Let's see. So if I were to go to my AU, I'm just going to log in with my information here. And if I go to, what is that? Academics and buy textbooks at the top. So again, that's academics, buy textbooks. Should load here. And then, so it'll show courses right here. So I'm also a part-time grad student here, so it shows the courses that I am registered in. And I obviously have not bought my books yet. So just click all my courses here, or select all my courses, and it would show me. Okay, so none of my professors have listed any books that I need either, but it would show you the books that you would need right here, and it would also show you options for buying the book, renting the book, or buying the book used, or renting the book. So those are 3 options there. So you can do it through various websites or through your MyAU. Evelina, let me know if that wasn't clear. I'll be happy to readdress it. Okay. Yes, with your vaccinations, for some of them you will need, there is a wait period. Usually what they'll do is, say if you haven't, excuse me, if you haven't acquired all the vaccinations yet, but you have an appointment set up with your doctor, or you intend to get the rest of your vaccinations, then you can send a letter to the Student Health Center, or they might require a letter from your doctor. But as long as you've started the process and will have it done soon, then they can work with you. But yes, you're going to need to send an email to the Student Health Center and ask them what documentation they need, because you'll need to send that directly to them. And we can provide you with all their contact information as well. And again, if you are under the age of 26, you do have to fulfill the vaccination requirements. So make sure you're looking at your pre-arrival guide. It has all of the vaccination information there as well. And then I will show you also, because I'm not sure how many of you are utilizing this, but we also do have the admitted students website. So we'll go back here and I'll just show it to you. Oops. So this is the admitted students website, and you might have seen it once you were admitted a few weeks ago or a long time ago. But anyway, if you ever lose any of all the packets we've sent you or all the information we've sent you, then you can probably find the answer to anything here. So we have the admit student packet, which you probably don't need at this point. But if you go down to living in Washington, D.C., you'll see the housing webinar that we had, the housing guide. You'll also see the pre-arrival guide, and then the pre-departure orientation recording there as well. So if you ever, again, if you have questions and are looking for an email that we sent you a while ago, feel free to look at the admitted student webpage as well, because all the information should be listed there. Okay. So you have one more question here. I'm waiting to receive a list given by the Ministry of Health. The list gives an overview about my vaccines, which I'll hand over together with the immunization form. I'm not sure, but I'll probably have to get the hepatitis B vaccination. Okay, I think that's a good plan. What you can probably do right now is just submit the immunization form as long as it's filled out. You can submit that right now just to get the process started, and then once you get that list from the Ministry of Health, then you could forward that to the Student Health Center as well. But you have a little bit of time, but make sure you get in contact with them to make sure that you are cleared. All right, so we've had a lot of good questions. We've talked about the health insurance, the vaccinations, things that are offered at on the main campus as far as the health center and the library and all of that. What other questions can I answer? I'll talk a little bit about, I know we talked about waiving the health insurance, but I also want to talk about your health insurance card. Many students come here and after the month, they're just like, oh, my health insurance card hasn't been mailed to me, it hasn't been emailed. How do I get it? How do I learn more about my coverage? So what you'll actually have to do is go to the United Healthcare website or the United Healthcare AU portal, and you'll need to create a login, and then once you create your login and roll through that system, then you'll be able to print out your health insurance card or have them mail you a physical card, but they won't mail it to you automatically. You will have to request that. Okay, so we have a question about the ad drop period. Okay, so how does it work if you add a course in the second week? Is it up to... okay, so I think what you're asking is if you add a new course, well, first of all, after the add drop period, so again, the add drop period is just that first week of classes, or ends after the first week of classes. After that period is over, you're not allowed to change your schedule. So you won't be able to add new courses or drop new courses. Well, you can't add new courses. If you do drop a course, you'll have a W on your transcript, and that W means withdraw. So depending on who's looking at your transcript, that can be construed as either a negative thing or they won't care, but ideally that's something you don't usually want on your transcript. So if you are registered for a course, and you register for it at the latter end of that first week of classes, you are responsible for everything that was covered in, the first couple days. Usually that won't be too hard to catch up on, but you will be responsible for all that information. I'm fairly certain that's what you're asking. But again, after the add drop period, you aren't permitted to add any more courses. Is everyone clear on what the add drop period is? So again, just to give another explanation, the add drop period is from right now, so from the start of registration until that Friday of the first week of classes. Up until then, you can add courses, you can drop courses, and that will be of no penalty to you. So you won't get a withdraw on your transcript, and you won't be charged for dropping a course or adding an additional course. After that period is over, you cannot add any more courses, and if you do drop a course, then it will show up on your transcript. So I know that's something that some people are a little bit confused about. Okay, let's see. So we covered a lot. You all had a lot of really good questions. While some of you are maybe thinking of additional questions, if you haven't done so already, please make sure that you like us on social media. We do have our Office of Graduate Admissions Facebook page right here, which I know many of you have liked already. But if you haven't done so, please like it and share the page, spread the word. We're really trying to build our social media presence. So in addition to the Facebook page, we also have our Twitter feed. So make sure you follow us. Our Twitter handle is just @WCL_OGA. That's just a shameless plug there. Okay, looks like we have another question. Am I allowed to record the professor during class? On your own, so on your own computer. It'll depend on the professor. So what you're gonna want to do is, if that's something that you want to do, you want to record your professor on your laptop, you need to ask the professor first and give them some reasoning. That's kind of a case-by-case thing. It'll depend on the professor. However, if you need a recording of the class for accommodations, so it might be a medical condition that you have that would make you need a recording of a class, or a recording of a test, or some additional accommodations that are medically related, then you would need to talk to our Office of Student Affairs, and you would need to talk to the assistant director there. Her name is Anita Padmanabhan. So you need to talk to their office and request accommodations. And again, this is only if you need accommodations for some kind of medical condition. So I'll just take you to this website here. If you go to, let's see, our Office of Student Affairs website right here. This is Anita. Again, she's the Assistant Director of Student Affairs, and she handles a lot of the accommodations here. So you can either email her or go to information request form, fill this out, specify the disability or why you need accommodations, and submit it, and then they'll contact you. Or again, you can contact Anita right here, and there's her contact info. Okay, let's see. Trying to see if we have any other topics that we haven't covered that we've received a lot of questions about. I know many of you have emailed either LLM info or, I'm sorry, LLM at WCL, or you've emailed me directly or Hilary directly with specific questions. Please feel free to do that if you haven't already. If something is confusing to you, or if maybe you didn't receive an email, reach out to us directly, and we'll be happy to work through anything with you guys. Talked about insurance, talked about books, Dean's Fellowships. I can talk about orientation a little bit. I know we sent out the schedule earlier this week, but let's see if we can find it here. I know Hilary emailed it out to everyone, and then she also posted it to the Facebook group. So this is just the schedule for the first day. Of course, you'll check in. ILSP students, you'll have a session on academics, and then we'll also have a session for all international students about living in Washington, D.C. So that'll be a little bit different from the pre-departure orientation that I did a couple weeks ago. This one will be led by Kathy, your associate director, the associate director for the International LLM, and the academic advisor for that program, and then also Melania Radinovich. So Melania is your career advisor, so she advises all of our LLM students. At the end of that first day, we will have a reception, and that's going to be here at the law school, where all the LLM students, our semester exchange students, and our SJD students kind of get together and kind of mingle and start meeting each other. So that's day one. Day one's pretty relaxed. We only have 2 sessions and then kind of a fun reception. Day 2 is going to be the bulk of the information. So we'll have a welcoming session for each program. There will be one for ILSP, one for law and government, one for advocacy, and then you'll hear from all the different offices. So we'll talk about the honor code. So in that, we'll talk a little bit about plagiarism and what you all need to know, because that is something that's very important to the U.S. education system and academia in the U.S. As well as around the world, but we want to make sure that all of you are on the same page. You'll hear from pretty important offices such as Student Affairs, Financial Aid, the Counseling Center, Student Health, and then you'll hear about some Title IX policies as well. We'll have a resource fair in which you will you'll have the opportunity to talk one-on-one with other offices on main campus and at the law school, and then the rest of the day we'll have lunch, IT stuff, you'll talk to our immigration office, and then other important sessions. So there is a lot that we'll go over, but one thing that's very important on the second day is that you will need, for all students on F1 or J1 student visa, and we'll send another reminder about this, but all of you will need to bring with you your passport and your I-20 to orientation, because Hilary and I will facilitate the check-in process for you so that the U.S. government knows that you have arrived here safe and sound. Again, we'll send another reminder about that before orientation. Okay, I provided a picture for my AUID, but can't remember if the picture showed my shoulders or not. I've not heard anything. Does this mean that my picture was approved? If you haven't heard that your picture was not approved, then you can assume that it's fine. So yes, they usually will let you know if your picture was not, did not fit the criteria, so you should be fine. If you have a question, about whether your picture is okay, feel free to reference, let's see, where is that? This document right here. It'll tell you everything that you need to know about what your photo should look like. And again, if you need us to send that to you again, just let me know and we can send it to you. But yes, that's another reminder. If you haven't done so already, please upload your photo so that your AUID will be ready at orientation. If it's not uploaded by the middle of next week, then unfortunately it won't be ready for you. So make sure you do that as soon as possible. You'll need your ID to, well, you really need your ID for everything once you're a student. You'll need it to print things from the library. You'll need it to, well, get into the library. You'll need it to buy food in the cafeteria. You'll need it to get into the gym, and various other things. So make sure you do that as soon as possible. The AUID card is pretty cool. It also kind of works as a form of payment. Excuse me. So you can go online and add money to your AUID, and then you can use that card in the cafeteria or in the library to print things, or you can use it on the main campus as well, where they have a convenience store as well as some restaurants as well, where you can use your what we call Eagle Bucks. So make sure you get your ID done. Let's see here. Do we have any other questions about billing or housing or health insurance, AUID cards, academics, registration? I know there's a lot to go over, and there's a huge learning curve for all of you, just because I know everything's very new. But once again, if you have questions about anything, please feel free to reach out to us. I can say that we're very excited to welcome all of you. We have a very diverse group of students coming in from really all over the world. I know in this chat alone, we've had students from the Netherlands, from Norway. We have a student from the Philippines. We always have students from Latin America, Mexico, Peru, Colombia. Really all over the world, a very diverse group, and we're really excited to welcome all of you. Looks like we have one last question. If you do want to resend your photo, I don't see why you wouldn't be able to do that. Again, you know, if there is a problem with the photo, then they usually will email you. But if you really have some doubts, go ahead and try to either email the one card office. And again, that email is yeah, feel free to email them at idcards@american.edu, and they can tell you whether your photo is admissible or not. That might be the best route to go, actually. So yeah, go ahead and just email them and maybe send them the photo that you used, and they can tell you whether you should send another one or not. But if there aren't any other questions, then we'll probably wrap up here. We're very excited for you all to come in just a couple of weeks. So as you arrive, let us know. We'll be happy to have you stop by the office. You know, when you do get here, if you get here early, feel free to stop by. But I will say that there really isn't much that you'll need to do until orientation. Of course, take that time to really get settled into your new apartment or townhouse or wherever you're living. Take that time to get to know DC a little bit, get to know the campus, and of course stop by if you want, and we'll be happy to see you early and answer any last minute questions that you have. But again, we're really excited to have you all, and we look forward to seeing you at orientation. And if you want to see this, it's going to be on YouTube, and I'll send it out as well. But thanks for joining us. It's been, again, we're kind of experimenting with this new technology, so thanks for being patient. But anyway, have a good rest of your week, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Thank you.